Hey everyone, welcome back. So I want to teach you about color styles within Figma. Now, styles really allow you to define a set of properties of an object that can be reused across your design. So like typography styles, like effect styles. Now we have things like color styles, and they are super helpful. I use them a lot, especially when designing. Even if we are in one file and it's not like a super big design system, I still use color styles as much as I possibly can, within reason. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the one thing that, before we get into actually creating it, your color styles are going to be able to be viewed here when you're clicking on that canvas, just like any other style that you create. So that's where you'll be able to easily view them and select them and edit them. You can do all that management on this side. So let's jump in to actually creating a color style. So what we're going to do here is I've created this color palette and I've just refined it a bit, and this is what I'm happy with. I'm going to jump right into the color here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my fill and I'm going to press this little style icon. And then as you can see, I have no color styles. It's so sad. Let's get some colors in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call this, there's a bunch of different naming conventions. You can say like primary 1, 2, and 3. You can use numbers like 900 or 500, 300, and 100 or something like that. I personally, I don't have a really strong preference. I like using that naming convention because it just by putting numbers on it really helps. So we can just say something like 500 because it's like kind of like a middle color. You could probably go way darker than that. This one can be, so there you go. It's popped up over there. I'm going to call this one probably like 300. And then this one I'm going to call 100. So now we've created a bunch of styles. I am going to show you what I mean about that right sidebar. And you can be able to manage this everything over here. So I can see all my styles here. I can go ahead and, edit that style and, its properties. So super helpful. Add a description if I wanted to. I can, make this black, and it's going to even change this one over here now. So I'm just going to back out from that because I didn't want to do that. But I can also select all my styles here and right click and add a new folder. So I'm going to just call this folder primary. So now they're there. I'm going to do the same over here for the neutrals. So I'm going to go through them one by one. I'm going to call this one 900. So how many do we have here? We have white. This one can just be called white. I very rarely, use black. I try to get away from using black. So I'll probably still provide a black in a design system just in case, but I'll just name it black. I won't give it an actual style color. Same with white. I'll use white a lot, but I will just call it as it is. So I'm going to call this one white. It's still part of the neutrals. So 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can 9. We have 7, 5, 3, 1. So this just really helps me think about, colors in kind of like a mathematical sense. Like, okay, 7s or 900 is always used for headings. 7 is always used for body copy. 5 for iconography. So, we can start, coming up with some rules here. You can put them in your descriptions. So we have 500, and then we have 300, and then we have 100. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab all these by holding, so by clicking, click the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one. It's going to select all of those rows. Add a new folder and just call them my neutrals. And then you can, organize them as needed. I think another great thing here is styles are not going to be able to, move from one page to the other, at least not in like a really easy way. So I like to use the plugin called, where is it at? Style Manager. This is a really great plugin. And you can go ahead and like export these styles here. Call them a new collection name. So they're basically going to take all the styles from your right sidebar over here. I'm just going to call this our monochromatic color scheme, or let's just call it our palette. And then I'm going to go to export the collection. Perfect. And now when I go into a new file, I'll be able to import that collection. So I can see that there. Let's back out from here now. So that's just a little tip. Now, when I'm actually going to be using this, I'm going to hold down Shift and I can come into here, and now I can see this. I can display it in a couple different ways. But this is how I'm usually displaying it. You can, do it in this way. This way is nice too, but you kind of lose the numbering, which is what I really like. But if you're really good at, easily distinguishing, what color you really need, then you should be fine. So there you go. That's how you use color styles in Figma.